can't stay with him. Just to fucking stay with him. Break my bones. Break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart.
When I'm up through the night, I can't turn down the noise, tear all the worries out of my mind. About who I'm supposed to be, I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer each day to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes it don't last that long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your star, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon.
Hello Hello, one and all, and welcome back to TTML Division 2. We are here today for the fourth round of Season 3 here in Division 2 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at Baku City Circuit. To take you through the action tonight, we are back as normal this week. Leading the way in commentary is myself, Daniel Hoggard, and alongside me in the commentary box, joining me as we hopefully will be for the remainder of the season now, it's Michael Edwards. Mike, how are you doing, mate?
I am doing fantastic, and what a track to come back into. Azerbaijan, absolutely brilliant. It's going to be fantastic seeing these guys fly around there.
Yes, certainly. It's a track that it poses such a technical challenge that the drivers are going to have to be putting up with all the way throughout the evening, and my oh my, that is going to throw up quite the challenge. We'll run you through how things are looking at the moment, though, in the Drivers' Championship standings, because my oh my, it's been so close, so competitive all the way through that it is still all to play for. But Scuba does lead the way for Red Bull Racing, 58 points ahead of Gary, behind just 1 point behind on 57. Caladri's right in the mix. He is third on 47 points from York, fourth on 43. He just heads Matt T-Boss, who is fifth on 41, and a bit of a gap down to B. Morgan, sixth on 34. LMN behind him, seventh on 33. Olakongan, Trippy Jeff, they are tied on 30 points at the moment for 8th place. 10th place, though, is with Corboy rounding out that top 10. Behind that, just outside, you have Tionis on 26, Ryan on 25. He is tied, by Nathan, reserve driver, on 25 as well. Isotopic is 14th on 24. Noisy behind that on 23, tied with Alonso. Sway 17th on 20. McCrew behind that on 18, and then Just Chris and AGU tied at the bottom of the standings on 8 points as it stands. And I'm going to be quickly mentioning the nature of this season, mate, because we're seeing Scuba at the top of the standings as it stands, and as of now, he only has one podium from this season so far. Of course, that was last time out when he narrowly missed out on the win, ended up taking second place to his teammate then. And his only podium, that's his only podium throughout the season. It's just consistent showings inside the top 10 that is putting him up the top then. So in a field that's so unpredictable and the race results fluctuating so much, it's going to be more about consistency throughout this season than those showy results of getting the wins all the time.
Yeah, and I think Scuba's position in the championship right now is proving that consistency is key. And obviously, we look at the contenders there. We've also got Gary, like 1 point behind. He had one poor race in Bahrain, if you remember that, a few weeks back. And, he has bounced back. I believe a late safety car in Spain occurred, which kind of hindered Gary a little bit towards the end of the race. But, yeah, he's right in the mix.
Yeah, there was a penalty that cost him quite dearly in that race, actually. So, he's had a little bit of a struggling start, but he has looked like a championship contender. So has Jorg as well. Jorg has been up the front in pretty much all the races so far. And so those guys certainly going to be impressing. That's a lot of early storylines, but I'm sure there's a lot of other drivers that can throw themselves right into the mix. Let's not forget Caladri in third place. Again, hasn't really been, overly just overachieving in any race. Just been quietly getting along his business. One podium again, and is still right in that championship mix and fighting for it. So you're going to get a lot of different results, I think, throughout the season. Maybe different challenges as well, flaring up at certain points. We're still in the early stages, but we're getting up closer and closer to that midway point we'll be hitting in a few races' time. And this is a point in the season, really, where you're going to see those championship challengers start to emerge. And particularly a track like Baku, it's an opportunity for some drivers to really get themselves in a stronger position, because Baku is such a technical circuit, and a circuit that really throws up unpredictable racing. The drivers that are able to avoid mistakes could catapult up the standings when it's still so close.
Yeah, one mistake here at Baku can cost you dearly, and we all know how unforgiving those walls can be, especially when you get into the hard sector 2 at the castle section. And it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out on top here. I'm pretty much going to predict a pole time already. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to say a 37.1.
Okay. I think that's a few tenths off the D1 pole time, so I think that's a pretty good region to go for. We'll see how that is going to unfold. We're up to 19 drivers in the lobby. We are supposed to be a little bit delayed, but I think we are now beginning to ready up just a minute late, so superb stuff from everyone, and we can get this underway very, very shortly. And this qualifying session, Mike, is going to be very intriguing because keeping it together, some drivers may have potential on lap times that they can manage, but it's going to be so difficult to pull off because not only can you very easily hit the walls in, you can also invalidate surprisingly easily around this track. So this track is one of the most difficult to hook a lap together at, and it's going to be again about limiting those mistakes if you want to be up the grid here.
Yep, key areas to look out for in terms of invalidation: the exit at turn 1, the exit at turn 12, and the exit at the castle section. Turn 15 as they try to hop over that curb to get the best lap time, and turn 16 where they can just run that a little bit wide.
Yeah, margins to be so small around here, and it should be so tight out there on the track yet again. Let's get into the qualifying, getting underway in just a few seconds' time, and now with everything lined up, let's get into it. And so here we are then for the fourth round of the TTML Division 2 Championship here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. These drivers to be taking on the absolutely notorious Baku City circuit. For today, let's look at the tyre compounds on offer. C2, C3 and C4 tyre compounds available. Of course, that C4 is the tyre you've got to be watching out for in the race. Going to be the tyre of choice through qualifying. This track characterised, of course, by its mega long home straight, as well as the walls that are ever looming around the circuit. That is about 6 kilometres in length then, with 20 turns, 12 to the left and 8 to the right, and 2 DRS zones towards turns 1 and 3. And you can see then in the middle of the track there, that turns 8 through 12 complex. Going to be a real high point for maybe some wings flying throughout the race then. Going to be so difficult to keep it clean in such a tight section of the track then. The beautiful setting of Baku is going to be what this race is going to be presented with us now. We are going to get us underway then for qualifying. So then the drivers are going to be heading out of the pit lane. We'll see who's going to line it up there. And XL Ryan's going to be first out, and Ryan's going to be a driver to watch out here, mate, because he had such a good showing in Australia at the first round, but since then hasn't really been showing up to races, has been getting the points he maybe is capable of. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how Ryan and the rest do, but we're going to have to watch out for the Williams driver, see if he can get back on form after not racking up the points these last couple of rounds.
Yeah, Ryan, definitely a man to keep your eyes on, and that's going to be very crucial for the constructors, as well as Gary been doing the job solo for the past couple of rounds. Now has his teammate with him, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategies the Williams go for. They're both out first two on track. I wonder if we're going to see any slipstreaming immediately from the Williams drivers.
Yeah, because that slipstream, as I mentioned earlier, that straight is just so colossal. You're flat out from turn 16 to turn 1, and that's about, I think about 2 kilometres in length. So it's a massive full throttle zone where slipstreaming can make a massive difference to the lap times. And the lap times now are just about to get put down. First off, with XL Ryan now lining up then, going through the kick of 19, and now towards turn 20, nice and flat out then, and you're going to be opening up that DRS now, opening it up, and now getting up to the high speeds. You're going to see out there on the track as you prepare yourselves for the braking zone at turn 1, using a bit of curve then to turn in the car on the entry, keeping it in fourth. You're looking for traction throughout the exit. Now, easy it to the right hand side of the track. Now, into the second left hander to Leno. Contact with the barrier there, but he's going to keep the lap going. He's still going to push. Those little mistakes, though, are going to add up over the lap if he's not careful. Now, heading through the rest of the first sector. On the brakes now, third gear, heading through turn 2. Keeps it nice and clean there, running it up to the left hand side for the right hander. Turn 4, again, right up against the wall, pushing the limits here. Now again, into the chicane then of turns 5 and 6. Critical to get a good exit here. Don't clip the curbs too hard, it unsettles the car, and you're back on it again now. Into the extraordinarily tight turn 7, the exit can sneak up on you, but nice and clean there for Ryan. Now into the iconic, infamous castle section then. Up the hill then, it's maximum commitment absolutely needed. It's adamant in a division as competitive as this one. Now you're back on the throttle. And at turn 12, you're flat out in this downhill section. Car goes light, the handling starts to skew, but then you're onto the brakes. Big stop here to turn 15, one of the most difficult corners on the track, and run out to the wall easily. Rhino keeps it clean. Then up to the right hand side for turn 16 is the final corner of real significance here in qualifying. It is flat out now from here to the lane. So let's see the Williams can muster up here. Flat out through turn 19, getting close to that inside wall. Just about keeps it alive, and now is going to be looking for that DRS line. There it is, DRS now open, and to the lane, exit right. We saw the mistake at turn 2. He's kept it rolling and goes across it at 138.3 to kick off the session. And you mentioned his teammate was in behind him. Gary going to the top then. That's an emphatic landing at 37.7. That's a big lap time for the Irishman to kick things off.
Yep, Cam on a set of the mediums as well, a 39.3. As I believe we got a yellow flag in sector 2. I think that might just be Sway again out of the way. We got Alonso approaching the line now, but we've also got the two McLarens ahead of Legend and AJ.
We're keeping an eye on those McLarens, and you can see Legend and AJ going into 7th and 9th out at the moment there. Someone moved up, I think it was Ice Topic, going into 6th position, so we're seeing the lap times coming flying in. We've got Caladri now to the line then, and the Avatari goes up there. He's right in the mix then on a 137.9, so strong start so far for Caladri. We'll see if he can keep that going then. So let's see the lap times continuing to flood down in this early stage of the session. I think they may well be Scuba, championship leader, now coming up to that line. So let's see what he's got in store for us here today. Now on the run to the line, he's keeping it absolutely pinned to the floor. Now heading through, Gary on top, that his main championship rival Scuba just in behind. He puts himself into the top 3, and it's incredibly tight. Matt Temos goes to the top, and he had a really nice showing, of course, winner last time out, and Matt Temos impressing heavily then. A 137.5, that is a hell of a way to make your statement and really put your mark on the championship. Matt Temos flying, we'll see if he can hold on to that throughout the latter part of the session.
Yeah, Matt Tibos with the fastest middle sector of all at the moment, a 39.1 in the middle sector. That's very impressive for what is technically everyone's banker laps.
Yeah, these drivers will be, I suspect, mainly just trying to feel out the circuit, keep it alive out there, and you're already seeing these drivers really being able to maximise this. It's fantastic to see, so let's see if they can keep on going along with it. I think most of these guys now are commencing, well, they are, I'd say, wrapping up their first runs out there on the track. I think we may well still have Sway out there on the Mercedes, yes, so let's keep an eye on the Mercedes driver as he now barrels towards the lane. Let's see what he has in offer now. Rounding turn 20 now, on to the DRS. It is full pedal to the metal on the run towards the lane. Where the Mercedes has a trying start to the season so far, puts himself in the mix in the midfield and actually ties Will Hawkins' time on 128.323. That is the extent of the close margins you're going to be seeing here at Baku. I think we're in a relatively quiet stage of the session. I know York's out there on an out lap, but I think LMN might be the next driver to come over to start a lap. So take us through this lap of Baku, Mike. We'll see what the AlphaTauri has to offer then over the line. Let's see what he can do, and if he can put himself up near the front of the grids.
Okay, so on board with LMN, DRS wide open on the run down now into turn 1, breaking just before the 100-meter board down into third, getting onto the curb on the exit there as we break down into turn 2, trying to maximize all of the track that is available to you now. DRS wide open, 8th gear all the way down towards turn 3, breaking just as you hit the 100-meter board there, and into turn 4 just before the 50. As we come to the end of the first sector, what is this going to be for LMN? And it is a 34.4. It says purple. We'll have to wait and see if that's true, but Now coming towards turn 7. You can very easily invalidate this corner by just turning a little bit too early. Now into the castle section. Let's see how committed he is through here. Very committed as we go on the exit of turn 12. Nice bit of traction there for LMN as we go through the kinks of 13 and 14. Breaking down now hard into turn 15, opting not to jump over the curve there for a little bit of extra time as we now come into 16. Nothing to do now but put your foot to the floor as we run through the final few corners of 18, 19 and this right hand kink of 20 with DRS being deployed now to the line. Will go LMN. What's he going to do? It's a 38.1. Gets himself up into P8.
Yeah, decent enough lap then for LMN, and putting himself up into the mix. We have a lot of drivers on out laps looking to improve themselves. Jorgano is out there, and in the Alfa Romeo we have known the prowess this driver's had in qualifying so far this season. So let's see if he can continue to push the envelope and wrap up another pole. How committed is he through the castle section? It's wall-to-wall stuff out there. Here in Division 2, Matt Timos on that pole position. We'll see if Jorg can challenge it. Where does he go on the grid then? Interestingly, as I think I may be Morgan improving. Sorry, my mistake then. I think I may have been noisy actually. I'm completely lost there. I saw someone going up there. It's Jorg.
It was
getting a
Cowboy.
bit. Cowboy, thank you very much for that, mate. We're still watching along with the Jorg. We'll see what he can do. How's the middle sector? It's pretty quick, but it may not be quite on pace with Matt Timos, who is still flying out there. Heading to turn 19, he's on the limit. What does he have to over then? Matt Timos looks so imperious in this early stage of the session now. Heading up to the lane then as Noise is out of the session, so he must have bent it throughout the lap. Jorg comes over. It's 9th place only for the Alfa Romeo. And what on earth has happened to Noisy there, mate? Do you know what happened?
It looks like he has gone straight into the wall at the castle section. I just tried to quickly jump on with Carson, but unfortunately he had just gone through the incident. But definitely the castle claiming its first victim here today.
Yeah, we've already got an indication it is going to catch, I'm sure, a lot of other drivers off guard. And so we're going to see who else is actually lining up for a flying lap as it stands. I'm just looking around. I clocked Alonso actually going through the castle section. It might not be the furthest driver along, but we're going to watch the Haas driver along here. It's B. Morgan's now gone in the castle section. He's claimed another victim, and another victim that's running in the top quartile of the field at the moment. As
Gary,
HAU going through. What have you seen with Gary?
Gary, he's 3.5 tenths up on his time right now. In the middle sector, this is going to be a monstrous lap from the Williams.
Straight up to the line. Whoa! 137.3. Huge lap then for XL Gary. We'll see if the Williams can continue to press that advantage in the lower phase of the session, but there's still more laps to come in, and a lot of drivers with the potential, with the speed out there to try and push themselves further up the order. So let's keep an eye out then. I'm watching Tionis now, the Norwegian, barreling, charging, coming out of that final turn now, turn 20, currently 15th place, but just a minute improvements putting him up. Looking at how many drivers on a 0.2, 0.3, but Tionis must have been on an improvement. He dives to the pit lane at the conclusion of that flying lap. So let's see who in the end has got something up their sleeves for us. Red Bulls to the line then. We're going to clock it. Who's first over? It's going to be Matt Timos. He is fractionally off that lap time of Gary. And was Scuba running a bit of slipstream tactics with him, trying to carry him across the line, push him ever closer, but it wasn't enough, and Gary's still on top. Gary looking imperious so far. We'll see if anyone has it in them to challenge that top mark that Williams has set down.
Volakonga to the line. It is an improvement, gets him up into P9 of 38.0. And yeah, brilliant teamwork there from the Red Bulls. Scuba on those mediums, giving the tow to his teammate all the way to the line. As I believe Gary in the final sector, yes it is. So I believe Gary will peel off into the pits. Ryan on the out lap. I think everyone may be on their cooldown lap now.
Yeah, well, I think I have found someone that's on a flying lap that is legend in McLaren. So let's see what he can do now. A little bit of movement here coming up on turn 7. How committed is he? Going through turn 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. A list of those corners at the speed they arrive. It is so dramatically quick down there. Now, opening out then. He's got those taps opened up now, heading through turns 13, 14, and then this incredibly scary and intimidating corner of turn 15. Again, opting to miss that curb. Over on the inside line then, tracking Legend all the way through. His first sector was pretty decent, but now he's still charging on there. It's showing purple in the middle sector. Can he keep that going? He said, actually, it's not showing up on my tabs, but we'll see what he can do towards the end of the lap. The McLaren driver has it all opened up. Currently down there in 18th place. We're looking to try and improve up near the field at the moment. Has it all flat out running up to the line. Legend goes up to 14th position then on a 138.2, right up in the mix, just 200 shy of the mark of TTG Coreboy. So it's remarkably close out there. I think it's a little bit of a downtime in this session right now. As I say that, we do have Ice Tommy to the line, he dives to the pit lane, so it's a little bit quiet out there. We'll see who's going to come through next up and challenge, but so far Gary up top. Even with the Red Bull Slipstream tags, this Coreboy's going out. I think that's in the pit lane though, Mike.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that Ryan seems to be the only person on a flying lap right now, coming towards the end of Sector 2. So I think he's the only man as he just hits a wall there. And that's the risk you run by hopping over that curb. It can give you lap time, but if you get the entry to it wrong, it will come back and bite you.
Yeah, we see that evidence of that then. XL Ryan coming a cropper then on that flying lap, so we'll see if anyone else is able to step up to the plate then. NTL Campbell's watching, he's just going off though, goes out the castle section of the Haas, and so I don't think he's going to find any improvement on this run. I think we're now in that transition phase between the middle and last run, so we'll see who's going to be next up to step up to it then, and we can have a run through of the flying lap out there. And so I think it's a McLaren driver coming through. That is Legend, sorry, I think that's on an N lap. Haas behind there. I got Alonso to the line, so we'll keep an eye out then. Alonso over, see what the Haas driver can do it as he flies it through. Going into turn 1, he's going to carry that momentum through all the way down here now. And a turn 2, slight look up on the left front tire, but he just about manages to keep it alive and power it through. Going through the remainder of that first sector time. Currently 10th at the moment. Can he push it even higher then? On the brakes late. Into turn 3, nice and clean then, running it through the exit of the corner, back to the left hand side of the track then, through turn 4, again, nice and clean, small when it moves here on the exit, but he's carrying that momentum through to the end of the first sector. Cam now out the way, he's not got time to improve on the laps, so we're still going to watch on with Alonso, heading throughout this last part of the session. He's about 10th up in his time, going throughout that first sector. We'll see if he can keep it up then as he flies it through the cancellation, turns it very early, clips the wall slightly. He's going to keep that going, but that's certainly going to cost him some time and cost him some momentum as he tries to push on throughout the remainder of this hot lap. Now, heading towards turn 15. Where does he brake? He gets very close to the wall on the entry, cuts the curb on the inside. I'm not sure if he's still valid after that. He looks to be still pushing though. Heading in to the third section now, but he runs a little bit way through 16. A couple of small mistakes have been holding it back, I think, throughout this lap. He is still soldiering on now, heading for the line. The ERS turned up then to the max now. Getting up to top speed over 320 k's an hour. We get up to 330 to the end of the straight with DRS now open. Alonso 10th, but he's not improving. He dives now to the pit lane, so Alonso has bailed off that lap. And the question is now, can anyone else improve? Because York's behind and he's coming through that middle sector. We'll see what the Alfa Romeo has had so much success in qualifying. Can pull off here with less than a minute to go before the clock expires here in qualifying. Now to the lane, TTG York. What does he have on offer now? DRS is going to be opening down this phenomenally long straight, 330 kilometers an hour, currently 12th. His qualifying record is supreme, but it doesn't remain supreme. He's only 11th, just couldn't find the time he needed to, and now he is going to be out the running surely for that pole position. The question is now, can anyone else find improvement? Does anyone else have it in them to top that time of Gary at the top? Then Gary's also out there himself though, heading around the lap And Gary, there's someone going over the line. I think that was his teammate Ryan. So we've still got some lap times to come in here to close things off then. Who is going to take that all-important pole position with overtaking? Pretty difficult and also damage so easy to pick up. It's so important round here. Who can grab that critical pole position?
Well, right now, Sway, he is over 7 times up on his time. This could put him right in the mix. He comes across the line with a 37.6. I believe Gary is the man directly behind him. Let's see if there's any improvement from the Williams, and no improvement. So, all eyes on the likes of Scuba, Caladre, and Matt Tibos now.
Yeah, there's still a lot of times to come in now from a lot of very, very talented drivers. So let's see what they have on over there. The McLaren of AGU is going to be the next driver to come across then. Going throughout the middle sector, he's very open then. Going into turn 18, keeping it nice and planted now. Rides out the section, he'll start no higher than that 16th place. We're going to keep on board now with AGU 1417 now, going up to the line. What's the arm on offer then? Just a minute improvements, putting him up then. He goes up to 4th on the second row. AGU impressing hugely then. And the McLaren putting himself right up into the mix. Who is next to step up to the plate? I think Tionis coming down that main straight now. Can he get himself up the grid? He's had a difficult qualifying so far. Over the line and does not find the time that he needed to then. I think Volakongan improves, goes 7th then for the Ferrari. Good enough lap, and his teammate Isotopic is coming up behind him now. Going down the main straight, not improving. Will dive to the pit lane behind that then. I think that may well be. I think that's actually LMN, who's currently 13th. Where does he find the improvement then? He does improve, but now you're coming through. He does not. He was not on a flying lap. Behind him, Matt Tibos. I think that is coming through then. He may be the last chance of Robbie. He does get Paul. Matt Tibos with a huge lap of 137.0. That is sensational, and he steals it at the dead. Gary has no answer. The slipstream too powerful down that main straight, and Matt Tibos has snatched pole possession with a stunning lap to close things off. He is 0.3 of a second clear the top two in the league in their own. Matt Tibos, winner last time out. Could it be a repeated form though? That is a staggering lap for the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, and Matt Tibos also, he was 2 tenths up on Gary's time in Sector 1, lost about a tenth in Sector 2, but that slipstream from Scuba helped him gain an extra 2 tenths in the final sector. So the Red Bulls working together fantastically there to get Matt Tibos on the front row in the best seat in the house.
Yeah, we'll see if he can convert that though into the race. It's such an unpredictable track. There it is then. For qualifying, Matt Tibos on that pole position. Gary alongside him on the front row. Sway is third then. Again, it's incredibly close from third downwards, but those top two are really in a league of their own from the start to the finish. Sway and AGU though do make up that second row. Caladre behind in fifth with Noisy just alongside him in sixth. Fourth row is made up by Volakogan and Shabby Chip leader Scuba. Gonna have his work cut out for the racing. B Morgan, Isotopic round out the top 10, and outside that top 10 you got Alonso, Jorg Ellerman, Coreboy, Legend Ryan, Tionis, Carson, and Camden, who didn't really get a representative time in. That was it for qualifying. The order now shaking up, but Matt Tibos in that pole position. The question is, can he convert it in the race? Because you suspect he's going to have a lot of competition. Gary, Sway, and all the rest are surely going to be right on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary going to be putting him under immense pressure very early on, I'd think, to try and get out ahead. And we'll see if everyone can survive Baku. As we know, the wall's very unforgiving you.
Yes, certainly. Particularly, I want to mention as well, those first few corners of the race, then, especially going through turn 2, because turn 2 is a remarkably low-speed corner. Very tight, wall always sticks out at you. It means that going down there, you know, you're going to see a lot of jostling for possession. And quite often, a lot of front wings can be chipped off there. And it pays to start near the front rounds here, because you've got less chance of being caught up in that. At the back as well, it's not too bad, because you can sort of bide your time and measure it. But being in that midfield, there's nowhere to run. And if you're not careful, you could be losing as much as a full front wing down there. You could be seeing a lot of front wings flying down there, because turn 2 is a real pinch point, and it's going to be so difficult for these drivers to keep all the car intact.
Yeah, turn 2, definitely one to keep your eyes on. Another corner that can be a bit deceiving early on in the race is turn 3 as well.
Yeah, especially because they got a good slipstream run heading into that. We've seen a lot of incidents in league racing and at real life down there at that corner, so we'll see how it all unfolds. Let's have a look and see what these guys are lining up for in terms of the tire choices. The overwhelming majority then going to be that medium tire on. So that's Alonso Element, Cowboy Legend, Ryan Tionis and Carson on those medium tires. Behind that though, Jorg on the soft tires. An intriguing call, maybe expected more for qualifying. Gonna try and match those race leaders in the race. And Cam from the back also trying to go for something different then. The hard tires are gonna be in action. This track's going to be very intriguing because a one stop from the softs is possible, but it might not be the outright fastest strategy. The two stop from the soft tires may be quicker, but the real problem is with that strategy is, of course, having to make those overtakes, how to get through a lot of cars. So I think a soft to hard strategy is going to be in use for most of those front runners. And those guys on the mediums probably can stretch it to the softs at the end, so that alternate strategy is going to come into play. We'll see how it all unfolds, but Matt Tibos from the front is probably going to want to try and extend that stint for as long as he can, so he doesn't get put up into too much traffic going in the midpoint of the race. But those guys lower down the top 10 going to have their work cut out. Staying in front of those guys on alternate strategy, they're going to have a real task in their hands looking after those tyres.
Yeah, soft to hards I think is the preferable strategy for the guys in the top 10. However, the soft to mediums is definitely doable, but the thing is with the softer mediums, the mediums do tend to drop off towards the end of the race, so you really need to hope you can build a gap on the mediums early on. Yeah,
certainly. The hard tires aren't too bad around here actually, so we'll see how that is going to unfold. Matt Seaboss on pole position, but I'm going to come to you quickly, Michael Edwards. For this race, this incredibly unpredictable race, this incredibly unpredictable division, who's your top 3 prediction in this race? I hate to put you in this position because that's an enviable place to be.
I'm going to go with Gary for the win, Caladri second, and I'm gonna chuck in Volakongan for third.
Well, let's see if that's going to come to fruition. We have so many different possibilities for this race, but it is Matt Tibos who has that clear run. Heading in a turn 1, it's a short run. Can he convert it? Gary, though, will have the inside line. So let's see how this is going to unfold. It is now the grid is settled, and we have the 4th round of the season upon us then. Matt Tibos and Gary from the front of the grid. Who's going to be leading it into the first corner? The answer is going to come to us soon because we have 5 lights. And the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is underway. Who's got the best stop in the front? Matt Tibos covering across. Gary not very quick off the line as AGU charging to the inside of the Williams. Nearly comes to blows and just about keeps it alive. But Gary holding on to that second place. Now they Jostle for position behind. Ready outside Sweet gets Caladri on off the start. Now Noisy, Volakongan, they're all battling and scrapping down there. Look at Scuba trying to get up and alongside the Ferrari. Look at the inside lane. He's cut off by Volakongan and further up the field. Caladri on Sweet side by side then. Mercedes and AlphaTauri going at it, but the Mercedes will hold on to it. Surely the turn 4 squeeze him out, and now Noisy getting up and alongside Caladri then, looking round the outside, is getting in the move done. The Alfa Romeo shoots through in a 5th place. Caladri go fighting back on the inside in this contact. Heading through turn 6, somehow they're still alive, but now Volakongan running around the outside, lay on the brakes in a turn 7. They're both looking for the apex then, as surely Caladri's in front. What a fiercely fought battle, as now they slow back in a single file for the castle section. Looked pretty clean at the start, but up at the front, Matt Tibos got away brilliantly. Gary going with him, but in the top 3, the top 4, in fact, pulling clear at the front. They're spreading out already. Matt Tibos got away, but Gary's still right there with him. Game on for the race when Matt Tibos and Gary, though, clear so far in this opening lap.
Yeah, AJ again, also a fantastic launch off the line as well. Managed to jump sway almost immediately and almost got Gary into turn 1 as well. It just shows how poor of a start that Gary managed to get off the line that AJ able to really draw alongside there. But great battle in between Caladri and Volakongan there, side by side throughout most of the middle sector.
Yeah, they just about managed to hold on to it as well. Now they all run it down on the task. I didn't see anyone getting damaged actually. It was remarkably clean first few corners, so props to all the drivers for keeping their noses intact, and now they all run through in order. Further down the field, there's an immense battle going on here between Element and Legend, who gets run up to the wall at turn 2. McLaren just about alive, and now he has Cam trying to get up and alongside of McLaren, and Haas now going wheel to wheel down the back of the field. They are still battling now to turn 3. McLaren on the outside, Haas on the inside, still going at it for the edge and in the corner, and they're battling for the apex now of turn 4, sweeping round though. The possession is going to be with Cam, and he's made good progress on those hards so far. Moving forward, Legend to the inside, can't quite get through it. NZL Cam now up into that 16th place. We'll see if he can keep pushing. All in all, York managed to get a good start as well, getting in front of all the medium runners, so it's pretty much static now as they all run through, but it's beginning to spread out up near the front. The close battle seems to be Noisy, chasing down on Sway. Sway not quite with the pace, he looked good in qualifying, but Noisy coming up towards him, and the top 3 pulling away, but more specifically the top 2. Gary Matimos well cleared, HU nowhere near DRS. It's turning into a 2 horse race already in the front, but look who Noisy, and he is hassling Sway. We don't even have DRS yet.
Yeah, Sway making that little contact of the wall on the exit of turn 15 there, slowed him down dramatically. So Ace Noisy now with a fantastic opportunity to get himself up into 4th place as he tucks right into the slipstream. Is he closing up quick enough? I don't think he is.
We'll see, maybe doesn't want to quite go for it just yet with that DRS Caladri, and I did actually clock it that he did pick up the weight damage as well. So that's why he's going off as his contact, I think, for Paul Congan's gone round, and there's also contact for the back. B. Morgan, I think Tom Scuba trying to avoid it. B. Morgan moves through, and there's major chaos down there. Scuba's in major trouble here. He loses out to Corboy, even drops well down the field, and Ryan now trying to move up the field as well. Noisy moving past Sway last up into that 4th place, and they're all still jostling for possession. Paul Congan with Corboy on the inside then. The field has been kicked off into a frenzy here on the 3rd lap then. It is all kicking off, and look at this then. Cam on Scuba, wheel to wheel, going through turn 4 and battling as well towards turn 5. The Red Bull hold on to it with that contact down there. Bola Congan and Scuba suffering majorly, now dropping well down the field, and it's promoted Alonso, the leading medium runner, up into the top 3. He's having a stellar race so far.
Yeah, that's worked out beautifully for Alonso. He's tucked onto the back of Jorgen B. Morgan as Legends out. It's that castle section.
Yeah, there was also damage flying there. Legend going out of the race. He stacked the car then, going through turn 9 as well. Just to update that, B. Morgan's also got damage as well, but Legend completely out of the running. Yellows are still out there. We're keeping updates, see if anything's going to bring up maybe a VSC, maybe even a full safety car. No, we are back to green flag racing, and we are going to be resuming. So let's see if there's going to be any changes of position down there. Up in the front, Matty Boss holding Gary then. Fastest lap does go with the Williams though, and he is piling that pressure on for the downfield. Looks like Jorgen sliding up. B. Morgan, he's had a stellar start to this race as well, and he's already up in his 6th position, and York is flying through the order and getting himself up there. He has fresh soft tires, and he's using them to superb effect for the down the field. Now, we got Element battling away with Carson down there, going in into turn 2. Element's had a difficult start to this race, but he's managed to get away from that, and now into the pit lane further back. It's Isotopic. We saw that contact down there at turn 1. You can see how much that's held him back. He's going for mediums, he's going for a 2-stop. Isotopic lost out big time. That incident at turn 1 has ruined several drivers' races, but it's opened up new doors, especially for those 3 medium runners of Ryan Corboy, Alonso, Ryan and Corboy, right up the front of the field then. They're in the mix, and they can really move forward in the latter part of the race. Yeah, and the one thing now that will spice up this battle for what is effectively P6 now is the fact you got Volakongan and Scuba on the back of this, and they are going to want to get ahead of these medium runners as quickly as possible. Let's see. Let's see what they can. Let's see what they can make of that then, as they chase onto the back of it. But you know those mediums are going to start coming into play in a later part of the stint, so they've got to try and make those moves soon. And so far the back, Cam made a bit of an error. Go to 15, has Element holding the back of him. just about able to keep it alive as Cam, but he did get himself some damage as well. He's got 19% damage on that front wing, and that's going to really hold him back then, going throughout the entire lap. So Cam, the mistake, going to really hold him back. Now, on to the straight yet again for the 5th lap now in the race, commencing. Are we going to see any moves down there? So DRS right behind York, who now leads the way in that fight. Further down the field, we've got Carson lining up a move then on the edge of the turbo, and that's cut off by Allen, who's able to maintain that 14th place. But for how much longer can he sustain it then? Because the racing point is bearing down him. Is the move going to come through? Not yet, it seems, as now they all seem to settle into single file. All seem to be content remaining where they are, but Matibos still leads. Guy going with him, and their pace over the rest of the field is nothing short of phenomenal. AJU was challenging Gary at the start, but he's already dropped back. 4 seconds now is the advantage for those top two. They're running away with it, and they seem to have almost no threat from behind. They can battle all they want at the front now because they built up such an advantage, and we're only 4.5 laps into this race.
Yeah, Matibos, Gary doing a fantastic job out front. AJ going to be under some pressure very soon from Noisy. I just called his own old gamer tag name then. But Noisy tucked in right behind AJ. And we may be seeing potentially moves begin to be made with DRS as these guys close up to the back of the car ahead.
Yeah, certainly, of course. Especially as those mediums are going to start coming into play throughout the latter part of the sprint. And so Jorg and B. Morgan especially are going to struggle to hold on. B. Morgan as well is getting broken from that DRS, which is putting him at major threat from the cars behind. So now, as AGU dives in very early, that might be a 2-stop then for the McLaren driver. We'll see what the tire choice is going to be. Looks like the order's going to stay the same as I see that Scuba as well. Attacking forward, Corgan towards turn 1. Move doesn't come through, and AGU though has gone in for the hard tire. So that tells me there's a 1-stop going on that is further down the field. We're going to battle away now as Element moves through a car, moves through a Carson. So great progress for Element now up into that 12th position. But interesting, AGU with those hard tires on. We'll see what they can make of it throughout the latter part of this race. And certainly with these soft tires, they are going to start going off then as Matty Boscari, Noisy and Sway are all pushing 60% now on their rear right tyre. That is the one that's taking the most punishment around this track. It's a rear limited circuit. So we'll see what these guys are going to pull off there. B. Morgan as well holding these guys back, has wing damage, dropping back. But I think you're going to see pit stops very soon. And the question is though, when will these soft guys come in? And do you think those hard tires AGU's going to put on, are they going to make it to the end of the race? Because he may struggle then. Those hard tires going to try to stay alive as well. There might be going incident, I think then. Heading to the car section, there's debris flying then. And I think that's Carson who's got through the full safety car deployed then. Dramatic season this race. And this changes things. And AGU after paying, he's really lost out because everyone else now has a clear run to the pit lane.
Yeah, the big question is now for everyone, mediums or hards? Because I believe the pit window for the softer mediums is around lap 8. So it's borderline with the safety car being out, whether they'll be able to make it, but time will tell as we got Matibos and Gary and everyone now peeling off into the pit lane. So Alonso, I think, will be taking the lead of this race.
Yeah, Alonso actually going to come in as well, actually, with Alonso. So that tells me it's going to be hard tires going on. Matt T-Boss has taken that risk. He's gone for the mediums, and the advantage that he has is that he will have a few last fight to safety car where he can keep those tires in check. But behind, we're seeing some difference in strategies then. So Matt T-Boss emerging. Gary behind him then. They're actually going to be split by Tionis, the Renault, unable to get in front of the Red Bull. And so he's still out there behind him then. Gary on mediums. Noisy, who actually jumps up to net P3 after the safety car really throws things out the window. He's gone for hard tires, and majority of them have gone for hards. But interestingly enough, Sway, Gary, Matt, all going for that risky strategy. And now that Ryan's isolated in the front, he's going to control this restart. Huge differences there in the tyre choices, the tyre strategies. Ryan now leading the way out there, but you suspect he's going to be trying to hold on to that. And now the question is, can Matt T-Boss get through these guys quick enough, and can Gary stay with him? One car between them can make such a big difference in these early stages of the race, and now that track position advantage really favours Matt T-Boss. I think he's put himself in an even stronger position regardless of the safety car.
Yep, that one car in between Gary and Matt is going to be crucial, especially with DRS not being activated early on. And I think Matt fresh mediums should be able to start making some moves on LMN, Cowboy, maybe even Ryan. But I think Ryan, if Matt Tibos is behind him, will play that team role and try and back Matt Tibos up into Gary.
Yeah, we'll see what the strategy is going to be there between those Williams boys, because certainly up at the front we saw Ryan kind of play a rear gunner role at Australia for his teammate XL Gary. We'll see what the strategy is going to be this time around. Doesn't look like we're going to get to racing on this lap. Caladri, who's had a really tough time of it. He had a front wing change in the pit lane. He's still climbing onto the back of him, so I think on lap 8 we are going to resume proceedings out there. And the difference between the mediums and the hards is going to be put on full display here. Now the hard tyres certainly going to be struggling to get temperature in those tyres coming out the pit lane, and it's going to be hard work for those drivers to get them in the window early on, which should give a big advantage to the medium runners. So actually off the restart, I'm looking for the likes of B. Morgan, Scuba, and maybe even Cam as well, to make progress on those fresh mediums, try and charge to the field, because the guys in the hards, even though they'll have a bit less tyre wear and have a bit more potential to charge in the latter part of the race, at this stage they're going to be really struggling, and those lower place guys on mediums are going to have a big grip advantage early on in the stint.
Yep, B. Morgan, Scuba, their whole goal now on this stint is to get through on these hard tyres as quickly as possible, because as I was mentioning earlier on, these mediums will drop off towards the end of the race, and that's when the hards will come back. And for the likes of Matt Tibos and Gary, building the gap now so that the hard tyres have no chance of catching back up, it's going to be crucial for them. But for B. Morgan and Scuba, they're going to have to make their way through a lot of hard compound runners to get in a position where they can start the push and build that gap.
And as well to hold on at the end of the race when the hards are going to come into play, when those mediums may well be getting towards puncture territory. So many different intriguing storylines. These top 3 drivers as well. We'll see what they can make of it then. They're still fighting for a race of their own. They don't want to be giving up on these positions that they hold in. So maybe you could be seeing them fighting very hard. I suspect that Matt T-Boss, Gary and the rest are actually going to have quite a tough time moving through, especially as there will be a few laps before we get DRS back. But Ryan's going to control this restart, and the restarts here are very interesting, mate, because the safety car peels in just before turn 16 in an otherwise flat out slipstream zone. Certainly the tactic is generally here at Baku to go later rather than earlier and minimise the slipstream effect of the cars chasing you down from behind.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see as well, because Ryan, of course, will back up the pack now as the safety car is going to be coming in. But when Ryan goes, it's going to be crucial, because I believe he's going to be in a party with Gary, and that's going to be crucial for Gary to know that information as well, so he can try and get the jump on T. Jonas immediately.
Of course, these guys can't overtake before the start of the 9th lap of this race. They're 8 laps in, and we've had a huge amount of drama already. And actually, Cowboy let a little gap open up between himself and Ryan. Has got to go with the Williams if he wants to try and get a run towards the first turn. But Ryan's running us up towards the line. You can see the drivers are all queuing up and raring to go. So when will the Brit put his foot down and get this underway? It's coming up to the pit entry. He's minimising that slipstream, as I said, and we got some swaps of position. Actually, the drivers don't know what's going now. Ryan gets on it, and those penalties, Sway and EGU getting penalties. They've come together on this race, and it's all kicking off. Look at this further back then. We got Dionis under immense pressure. We got Element trying to get up and alongside him and looking to the inside lane, getting through, And so Matt Timos jumped and got a perfect start as it all went up in flames. Chaos ensued behind. But Matt Timos up onto the podium already then. To be honest, they're just in front of Gary. Gary losing contact with Matt Timos. Looking towards the inside lane, and a 3 is covered off, and he has now Noisy coming up behind him as they all do further down the field. Scuba and B. Morgan are going at it. Scuba gets in front and up the field then. It's so difficult to keep track of the action, but Sway gets in front of Noisy. Noisy, of course, less grip on those hard tires. Look at this early on, they all running the lane. And Sway having to defend a little bit from a very threatening Noisy behind to keep him at bay. But Ryan, what a jump here moving to the front. He's got in front of those guys with the same strategy, and now Matt Timos on the charge. And correctly, he's got 2 cars between himself and Gary. Gary's going to have to really fight for this one now. Matt Timos is away gone. And I think that's the honest making a mistake. Gary is in a turn 14. Gets the move down the Renault. Gary moves up and he's lost contact and is further down the road there. You're moving past his teammate then. As now we got Noisy in trouble. Dropping well down the field there at turn 15. They're going at it then on the inside. B. Morgan getting side by side. Again at turn 16. There is nothing to choose between them. But surely the Renault gets through off the road on the outside. Noisy losing out as well to Bollock Hogan. Losing out now to Cam on the inside lane. And the Haas get through. And Noisy is swamped here under a promising start to the race. And down the middle, Caladri going 3 wide and now almost 4 wide as Carson tries to get through as well. Off the road, Matt Timos moving through. He's round into the Corboy, gets the move done in a turn 1. It's Chaos and EGU Noisy. Carson all in. What a dramatic restart. There was action everywhere, but Ryan's pull clear. He's 1.6 seconds ahead at the front. Matt Timos again 2 cars between himself and Gary. Matt Timos has flown in this restart and now he's put himself in the driving seat to win this race if he just keeps it on the track.
Yeah, Matt Timos here, fantastic restart, gets himself up into the 2nd place now, ahead of Cowboy. I was just looking at the wing damage. Ace Noisy did have wing damage, so that would explain why he was going so wide in all the corners and losing spot after spot. But yeah, at the moment, Matt Timos doing a fine job, and Gary a bit swamped in traffic, and he's got Sway on the same strategy directly behind him now.
Of course, Sway, as you can see, he does have that 5-second stop-go penalty for collision under safety car, and if he pits again in this race, that will be certain. He's got no chance of removing it through the stewards. So he's got to get on with his race now and try and press forward despite the disadvantage I should say. But look at Matt Timos now, continuing to fly. He was emphatic in qualifying, cruised to pole position, controlled the lead at the start, and now the safety car, he is risen to the occasion. And now has the racing Williams all lined up, and he's looking for the move through. So now Matt Timos going for the race lead. Can he get it? The Ryan's not giving it up easily here. He's going to learn to try and do his teammate a favour and hold on at the front, and I think hold on he will do. So now it's up to Gary to charge through his DRS. We've got it to use. Heading into turn 3 by the down the field. Scuba and Yorga going at it. Scuba cruises past the Alfa Romeo and up into that 8th place, and continuing to move forward in this race on those medium tyres. Are we going to get swamped in position? Right, I tell you what, there's a tremendous run through turns 1 and 2. We'll hold on at the front. No overtakes here. As look at us though, Gary lighting up element, looking to the inside lane. No, he is too far away. So no overtakes coming through from our leading contenders in this race. So Gary being held back, Sway still right on him. Matt Timos can bait his time. He doesn't want to wait and learn too long, but now with DRS, surely, if he sits close enough, going down the main straight the next time, surely it's a foregone conclusion, and Matt Timos can cruise to the race lead now and try and wrap up this race winning out on track.
Oh, Gary makes a mistake, locks up and goes deep, and he's lost a lot of time with Element and AJ leaving the session, retiring in the pit lane. Gary on the teetering edge now of not having DRS.
He's got to get himself back into the rhythm then and close up without letting Sway through behind then. It is all so close and all so marginal. And these battles throughout the field then with huge amounts of points on offer. Further up the grid, let's keep a look at Matt Timos now, because he has got XL Ryan lined up now and looking for a way through that Red Bull, chasing down Williams. He is surely within range as Cam's gone out then. That's the turn 14, Cam coming at blows, and we have a full
Super.
safety car yet again, and now an opportunity for the front runners to come in and stay down on those tires. Ryan immediately to the pit lane. Matt Tibos will inherit that race lead. Boy and LMN is going to come in as well, so that is going to bunch up as Ryan gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That was unnecessary. He didn't need to go in at such pace, but now Ryan has really set himself back in this race, and recovering from a penalty like that is going to be near impossible. Retains the lead, and I think XL Gary has caught a break then to running up the front. He had a huge gap ahead to Matt Tibos there that was only growing, and now he's back there with it. Matt Tibos has to back off, relinquish that lead, and now Gary's right on him, and we'll have the slipstream on the restart to try and regain the lead and retake it for the Red Bull.
Yeah, the safety car coming out definitely helping Gary out there by being able to close back up to the back of Matt Tibos. Interestingly enough, it just caught my eye. LMN and Ryan are setting the soft compound tyres, so maybe going for a two-stop strategy.
Yeah, because I don't imagine those softs can make it to the end of the race. They almost certainly cannot. So Ryan and LMN going quite bold on this. We'll see if it's going to work out for them, though. We're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm quite surprised by that, actually. And I'm just looking at TAS as well. And so Ryan has actually put on a qualifying set of those tires, so they've already got some wear on them. So that's definitely another stop he is making in this race. And with a safety car bunching it up, maybe that's not the best call. We'll see how it goes. But Ryan and LMN going very risky here on track. They need to make up a lot of ground on track, use their better tires to great effect. Otherwise, they're going to really struggle to make use of it, because that extra pit stop will set them back a huge amount in this race. They feel so close now.
Yeah, and I think for Ryan and LMN, I think what they've done, they forgot to change their tyres to the hard compound tyres. I think they were planning a medium to soft strategy, and they forgot to switch their tyres to the hards. I think that might have been what happened, but I mean, time will tell if this soft strategy will work for them, but I think it was more of a mistake than intentional.
Well, yeah, I can't really see the logic in it. We'll keep an eye on the restarts, because they should be phenomenal in those first few laps. But once those softs start to go off, it is going to be all the tougher to keep themselves up at the front. My oh my, this race feels it's been going on for an age, and we're not even halfway through it yet. It's going to be across the halfway point when we get the race back underway, as Noisy, the last car to get onto the back of the grid, will rejoin. I'm going to keep an eye on Noisy, because in his position, he might as well go into the pit lane and get off those tires. No, he's going to stay out, actually, and keep those tires going. He actually didn't have another set of the hards, I don't think, so maybe that's wise to keep it going. Now the field's condensed. Now we can get back to racing at the end of this lap. So Matt Tibos now controlling the restart. We'll see where he goes. We'll see if Gary can go with it. But Matt Tibos, I suspect, is going to do the same thing as Ryan did then. Just control it right to the line, and then go as close as he can so that Gary doesn't go with him and doesn't have that chance of getting that lead, grabbing it with the slipstream, heading into turn one.
Yeah, the restart for Matt Tibos is going to be absolutely crucial. We saw Gary was keeping with Matt Tibos in that first stint, and DRS was definitely helping Gary close up towards the back of the Red Bull, and that's the risk that is running through Matt Tibos' head right now, is how is he going to be able to perfect this safety car restart, because he knows Gary's got the pace to keep with him.
Yeah, another thing to note as well, Matt Tibos has 2 warnings, Gary only 1. So Matt Tibos has a bit more pressure on him as well to keep it between those 2 white lines. And so while the Red Bulls looked imperious so far, the job is only half done. And he's got to maintain it all the way to the checker flag if he wants another race victory. But Gary is going to apply that pressure, no doubt about that. Swaying behind, he might yet get that penalty removed. We'll see how it's going to unfold. But as we get towards the restart, safety car will pull in. Going into the pit lane now at the end of this lap, and from turn 16 onwards, Matt Tibos can control this. He now allows that gap to open up for the safety car now. Race control declares it will be in at the conclusion of the 13th lap here in Baku. So when is Matt Tibos gonna put pedal to metal here? The Red Bull driver from the Williams second place. He's controlling that throttle, waiting for the optimal time. Maybe Gary will let a gap open. Matt Tibos can take advantage of it. Gary is glued to his rear wing. He is not allowing this to open up. And now, as we draw to the halfway point in the race, Matt Demos controlling it, slowing it down now. Gary looking almost alongside him, and now he gets on an early in. Gary's been caught out. Gary's out of the way, and now Matt Demos draws, clearing his teammate Scuba is also away brilliantly here. He gets alongside Sway already, looking for that third place as they fire into turn one. Scuba on the inside line. Can he get third on the brace end? He does get through, and crucial for Scuba to move through a greatly timed restart, and now he even has Gary in his sights then, and the championship contenders now going out on the road. Let's look further back. Are we seeing any changes of possession? Ryan is shaving on the move. Oh, now it's a topic to the inside line at turn 3. Is he brave with the race? Yes, he is, but he's so brave. Can he get through two of them? 2 Ferraris and 1. That is spectacular. Now stopping now for Colgan can't get through behind. Alonso and York battling away. Murphy Morgan's made a mistake. He's dropping back now as Ryan up alongside him. Ryan up another possession. What a phenomenal restart. The Ferraris are swapping place, I think, but they're down there for Colgan on the outside then. He's going to get let through down the inside as a topic. B. Morgan can't get through. It's all bunching up then. But Excel Ryan, I'm not even sure if he meant to get the pair. The field goes out, safety car again. More than enough to happen now.
Oh, what is going on here?
Matt Tibos still leads the way. A safety car after only half a lap of racing. That is... I'm baffled. I am truly baffled, Michael Edwards, on how we had a safety car yet again. And so the field is still bunched up. No one's outright out the race. There may be some damage flying around. Noisy has definitely got some front wing damage. Looks like Caladri has picked up some as well. I think Corboy has. I'm just running through some of the damage down there. Yeah, definitely some drivers. Tionis as well picked up damage. So yeah, it was just a lot of debris down there, I think, that's defined it. And we're going to be seeing some pit stops, I suspect, at the conclusion of this lap. And Ryan into the pit lane. And he's followed in by Isotopic. Element stays out. But that tells me at least that Ryan made a mistake by putting on those softs. What a move, though. He tied both the Ferraris in one corner. It's not going to count for much in the end, but Ryan, that was phenomenally brave. So now, it's a busy pit lane. 7 cars in. Ryan serving a stop and go as well. From that time he spent in the pit lane, so he's going to get jumped by Isotopic now on the softs. And the soft tires now should make the checkered flag. So now, Tionis on mediums, though, he's going to go a bit more ballsy. And now Caladri Carson on older mediums. Noisy behind, Corboy on softs. There was mediums as well for Noisy, so you can see the difference in strategies fluctuating all the way down, and now they're going to try and charge at them. Element, another safety car, is going to keep his tires in check and give him a better chance of making the flag, but he's going to be at huge pressure from the guys behind, and now it's the top 8 that are isolated on these older tires versus the bottom 8 on fresh tires. So now the field all condensing all into one, and certainly 2 distinct groups of drivers who are going to condense on each other, and particularly the guys, I'd say, from 5th to 8th are going to have the most difficult time, because those guys on soft tires, fresh soft tires, will be flying at it with so much more grip, and surely they're going to be under threat. Can those soft runners, though, challenge even the front of the race, because we've still got a lot of laps left in this race, and now with the safety car, those soft tires should make the checkered flag now.
Yeah, the soft tyres are going to be teetering on the edge of their respected tyre life, and I mean, we'll have to see how these soft runners are able to manage a tyre weight towards the end of this race. But the thing is, with the safety cars now, it absolutely guarantees the mediums can make it to the end as well for the top 4, which takes away any advantage that Alonso or Jorg or even Volakonga would have had late in this race.
Yeah, just checking, the medium tires are still pretty fresh. Only about 20% or so on those mediums for the front runners, and now that we're going to come over, we'll have only 10 laps at the very most of green flag racing. We've already had 3 safety cars in this race, so we may well have even more throughout that. It has been absolute chaos. As such, Baku loves to deliver, but now the field is all condensed. These drivers will have been sick staring at the back of Bert Mylander, who, by the way, has probably led more laps in this race than any other driver. But Matt Zabos again is controlling this. Last time he went actually quite early and he got the jump on Gary. So is he going to go for that same strategy again, or is he going to mix it up, go a bit less risky and run it up to the line? Gary, can he react a bit better? Because that last restart was firmly in Matt Zabos' favour. Can he do it again though and stretch that advantage? Getting that gap early off the restart will be so crucial for us maintaining the race lead in the latter laps of this race.
For Matt Tibos, I think what he wants to do right now is catch Gary napping, but have Scuba jump ahead of the Williams driver. So I feel that we may see the Red Bulls in cahoots on this restart here. Maybe Matt will move over to the side and allow Scuba a bit of slipstream down towards turn 1. Who knows? But for Gary right now, he needs a good restart here. He needs to get the jump on Matt Tibos.
Yeah, Gary needs to be so alert. If, as you mentioned, the Red Bulls do decide to try and choreograph this and get Scuba up into that second place, the Red Bulls, of course, with a 1-2 finish last time out in Spain, and they will be oh so eager to repeat those fortunes again. So let's see what they can do with it. Again, once again, we are going to be seeing the safety car going to be guiding them around, and now we prepare ourselves for the front of the race. So Matt Tibos now leading from the front, and Gary going to have to try and react and go with him. So where it's deja vu here, and we'll see if Scuba can maybe get the jump. He had such a good restart last time out to get Sway. Can he do it again? And we are all lined up, ready to go back racing. Heading into turn 19, Matt Tibos still holding it back, waiting and biding his time. Look at Scuba getting right up alongside Gary. He is so eager to get this going. Right up behind him, and Gary covering him off. Then Matt Tibos going early, and he's caught him nappy again. Away goes Matt Tibos from the front. Can he maintain this? He's got enough in hand. Further down, if Alonso had a good restart, but he's dropping back then. Immediately off this. Scuba is close, but not close enough. Gary's done enough to maintain that second place and keep himself in the hunt. So let's see if any manoeuvres are coming through from behind then. There's a bit of contact in there. It's not, it's going off that element coming on Ryan, who looks to the inside lane and turn to it, bringing Lee again. It's the Williams. Can he get through on the inside lane? Yes, he can. Ryan, on the ascension already, but Scuba now attacking Gary. Looking to the inside lane at turn 3. He's too far away. The manoeuvre does not quite come through. Gary only on the second place, and Matt Tibos feeling clear already. Further down the field, there's chaos, I think, down there at turn 3. They're all jostling for position down there, looking for ways through, but they are now form it to a line. It looks single file down there, and so I'm not exactly sure what the circumstances of that restart were. There was certainly some contact down there. I think it may well actually be Sway further up the grid that's got himself some damage on the task. So Sway might be in big trouble here. He's got loads of with him, but the top 3 can establish themselves. But look at Matt Tibos. He's already a second clear. What a sensational restart for the Red Bull. He's now in the complete driving seat now in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic restart for Matt, and I think Gary more concerned with Scuba behind it, just took his eyes off Matt Tibos, and Matt Tibos saw the opportunity and went for it. But meanwhile, Ryan now all over the back of Volokonga, and he is on 2 compound softer tyres, and they are a lot fresher as well, as he is tacked up right behind, but he's going to move to the inside of turn 20, and that is job done. And now it'll be interesting to see how far on those softs.
As also behind them, Element is always threatening round into the turn 1. That's going to get caught up, but he is right in the mix here, looking for that 9th place. He's looking at the inside lane at turn 2. That one is denied. Further down the field, we see Pestops Carson retires from the race. He's had enough then in that pit lane. Yellow's outside the one. It shouldn't be a safety car this time around, as everyone's still out there. Fresh tyres going on noisy and isotonic, but they've got so much ground to make up now in this Baku City Circuit race. So now the field's still pretty bunched up there, but some brakes appearing up at the front end. We got, I think, some yellows down there. I'm still looking away that that's still set to one, but up at the front. Matt Tibos still clear, and Gary struggling to go with him. And Gary, as well as Leslie rest to you, so he's trying to go with him. Matt Tibos up the front, moving away, and you have to say, with the pressure that he's been put under all the way through. How many obstacles have went in his way? Matt Tibos has driven absolutely superbly, has not put a foot wrong, and is on his way. Can he see out the race? No, it's been Morgan. Right, is he going through it to turn 12? They moved on for the Williams now. How has he done that? He's already up into 7th place. Ryan is flying through, and now he has Jorg right in his sights. Ryan on the ascension. Can he clear the Alfa Romeo now just in front?
Yeah, I was on board with B Morgan. A snap of the rear end on the exit at turn 12, and Ryan pounces on the opportunity to get through. Now he's on the back of Jorg, and look at the overspeed he has coming through there. The grip of those soft tyres working an absolute treat for the Williams. And I'm sure Gary will be loving what he'll be seeing pretty soon, because Ryan is on the charge, possibly to get up there and support his teammate.
Ryan has a real shot of a really top line finish in this if he keeps this up, because his pace is nothing short of phenomenal, and his overtaking is going with that to boot. The front runners are running as well. Scuba as well attacking Gary, looking for second place to make it a Williams. 1, 2, through turn 3. He sweeps round the outside, and Scuba in a second place. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant! And Scuba face through. He's had a roller coaster of a race when he regains that second position, and Gary has no response. Through goes Scuba, and that is critical. Now Matt Tibos further clear the furthest race, and Gary stepping back. Matt Tibos is establishing himself as a true championship contender here today, and he's moving clear. His teammate may be the only thing that stands in his way. I'm just going to have an update on Ryan, because he was about a lap quicker than Alonso behind. He had to make overtakes on that lap. He is on such form. Can he keep that charge going? Can he sustain it? The soft tires are going to start wearing off in the latter stages of this race. He's already got a little bit of wear on it that's matching the medium runners at this stage as well. So it's Ryan, he's going to have to move fast if he wants to keep these overtakes going. But Gary is struggling so much. He's got damage actually, is Gary. So Gary now making the mistake, and he's dropping back. Now Sway has damage, but not quite as much, and now the Mercedes is searching for that podium spot. Can he make it work? He's low in the ERS, he's low in the battery, but he is still charging through now towards turn 1. Down the inside is a foregone conclusion. Sway is up in 3rd place. Gary braking late, running round the outside. Gary, my oh my! How on earth he put that back, Gary? That was brilliant. But for how much longer can he hold on then? You said he's got a huge bit of trouble behind. Ryan further back. He moved on the lords of now. Sweet trying to fight back at Gary towards the inside lane. No, he's too far away. Gary holds on to it, but that wing damage is holding him back. Ryan has a clear run of both of them, as now Morgan and Jorg are battling. Morgan gets through at turn 3 and up in 7th place. But I'm going to have an update on Ryan. His pace is so strong, and he's chasing these guys in front so rapidly that you said he's got such a good chance of a podium even. Maybe even a win at this stage. His pace is so phenomenal. Even the Red Bulls may be in danger, because so far Ryan is charging through. His speed is nothing short of remarkable. Could a race win even be on the cards for the Williams?
I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Once he gets ahead of Gary and we get to see the pace of him in a bit of clear air, then we'll really know if he can mount this charge for the win. But right now, 2 cars ahead of him, both with wing damage. It's gonna be easy pickings here for Ryan.
Yeah, we'll see if Gary wants to play the team game then. Ryan was probably, we're talking about him maybe being a rear gunner. Now it looks like almost the opposite has been true, as Gary's winning chance of falling away. They're slipping between his fingers, and now Sway has them all lined up for that 3rd position. DRS will now be activated, and now Ryan's winning, but I don't think it's quite close enough. Sway to the inside line, it's going to cruise through. He's pinched the pit walk, and Gary fight back on the outside again. He's looking for it, but he's too far away. Looks for the switchback though. A brilliant exit there for Excel Gary, and he may reclaim this 3rd place. They are locked wheel to wheel through turn 2, and now Ryan has them both lined up. Can he get to the inside line? He goes to the outside and trying to get past his teammate. Can he find space in the wall? Ryan going for 2 and 1 as he charges down the outside for 3rd place. XL Ryan going at it with Sway, but Sway fighting back in a turn 4 down the outside, running out wide as Sway. It's not over yet. Now Ryan fighting back. Can he go around the inside of turn 5 then? Straight a long way round. Ryan looking for the podium place. Sway fighting for all of his worth, and they're still going at it for the exit, but Ryan gets through 2 in 1 lap. Brilliant from Ryan. He might be too far away to challenge the top 2 now, but he's floating through 2 in 1 lap. Right up to the podium. What a phenomenal comeback drive. He starts 16th on the grid, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic comeback drive here from Ryan and from Scuba as well, for that matter. But I was just looking down further down the grid. Looked like contact for Cowboy, Tijones and Caladri, as they have picked up what appears to be wing damage, and York dropping a fair few positions down into 13th now.
Yeah, York having something of an off day, it must be said at this point. But look at LMN now on the attack. He's got all the tires up, but he's still chasing down Corboy. Can he get a move done then? As they now line themselves onto the main straight. He doesn't have much ERS to use. Does LMN, but he's still going to look for the overtake. Is he going to come through now with DRS? But Corboy has some good legs on that car, and that Mercedes is going to hold on down the back straight and will maintain that. Look further back, Alonso's trying to line up Gary. Alonso's as well had a very solid race. Tionis now attacking right into the element. That one is brutally cut off by the AlphaTauri on the outside, but the Renault is rallying and he's got some fresher tyres underneath it. Then surely Element's going to start struggling here, and he's too far away from Corboy. And now Tionis attacking round the outside of turn 3. Then can he get it done on the brakes? Swinging round the outside in a long way round. And now Tionis to the inside of turn 4 will get the manoeuvre done, and up in that 9th place. The switchback though comes through from Element is not done with. Now, can he run the long way round? I think he's going to get cut off there. Yes, he does. Tionis runs through. Caladres will move through on Volkogan. It's all kicking off all the way through the field, as now the Red Bulls, I'd say, are pretty safe at the front. Maximus and Scuba are controlling this. Ryan's soft tyres now beginning to drop off. The tyre wear now is actually crossing 60% now, so Ryan, we're mentioning a potential race win. Now he may actually be in trouble. Those tyres are wearing to such an extent that he could be in podium territory. We've still got 4 laps left in the race. Ryan is going to have to coax those tyres to the end, and now Sway and Gary are coming back in the Williams ace.
Yeah, not only that, you got Alonso, who is just inside DRS range as well. No damage for Alonso, and his tyres are not going to drop off. I think Alonso might be in the best spot at the moment.
We'll see if he can try and capitalise on that. Sway is fending back at Ryan yet again, then Ryan's on the defensive this time, but Sway is too far away. Heading into turn 1, but you sense it's only a matter of time. When will the manoeuvre come through then? They break it into turn 2. Better apex from Sway, but better exit from XL Ryan, and he punches clear emphatically. Moving clear in that 3rd place. He has enough in hand to maintain it. But for how much longer can he hold on? Those tyres are getting away from 67% on the rear right. He is cooking, he is burning through them, and now he has 3 cars bearing down on him. As you mentioned, Alonso is in a good spot to capitalise. Those hard tyres are only going to come into the road. They've still got some life left in them, then they're not as worn as Gary's tyres, certainly, who's also beginning to go off. So now it's all spreading out throughout the field, but it's bunching up in this battle for the podium. Sway has Ryan lined up, and Ryan now slipping back. The Red Bulls are clear. Matt T-Ross as well is clear from Scuba. Those Red Bulls on for a 2nd consecutive 1-2. They've been so dominant at the front. They're headed for it yet again. 3 laps to go, and those Red Bulls in Spain and now in Baku look all but unstoppable. They have been absolutely sublime at the front of the field.
Yeah, question right now, are Ryan's tyres going to last? And just to kind of put into perspective how much he's taken out of those tyres, LMN is on roughly the same percentage, and he's on 3 lap older softs.
So you can see that, just that difference in degradation. Gary right behind Sway then looking for the move through, but Ryan has just taken too much out of those tyres, and now he's suffering the consequences now. Sway to the outside. Is he going to go the wrong way around the turn 1? Ryan late on the brakes will cover it off and hold on. He's trying to let Gary back into this one, I think. Sway to the inside, fades it, he runs into the back of Ryan, who has no tyre grip left virtually. He's now getting himself into puncture territory, and as Sway, Gary, Alonso, even B. Morgan right there behind him. Now, Sway closing it again, but he's too far away yet again. And you have to see Ryan's defending valiantly, covering up all the angles, doing everything he can. But the tires are only going to get away from him. Now he's in that window as Collado moves past his teammate Element. Further down the field, he's now into the top 10. But surely Ryan can hold on to this. Those tires are going to be absolutely done. He's going to be on revs by the end of the race. If he can get those to the end, it would be a miracle. And if he can get a podium, my oh my, I think that's the second coming. Can Ryan hold on to this? But it's looking increasingly unlikely that he's going to get even a decent haul of points here today.
Yeah, and he is causing quite a little train behind him now. Alonso right on the back of Gary, and now B. Morgan's there as well.
Yeah, they are all with each other. So let's see how this will unfold at Sway with Ryan. He has struggled for laps to find this move, and a stop go penalty is setting him back break time in this race. We'll see if he gets to remove, because it was picked up under that safety car. And so that might just hold him back. Let's see if he can get through this time, though. Again, he has Ryan lined up. Can he get the move done at last? A move past the stricken Williams. The top two pulling away so much, you sense that the speed is there for Sway to pull clear now with DRS. As third place going to be lined up for him onto the penultimate lap. Round outside it's going to be in again. Ryan surely is out of it now. He tries to come back to the inside, but it's futile. Through goes Sway. This time he gets through. Ryan's on 8 skates, 80% on those tires. Now Gary to the inside line. Ryan actually holding on to it now in front of him, but you can see the drifting, you can see the lack of grip. And now Gary getting through. I sense Alonso will try and pull through as well. Ryan is stricken. Gary now on his inside line trying to get through. Gary still up for podium here as it stands. Alonso will try and threaten it for that. Then as out of his contact from the back. Morgan into the back of Alonso. Alonso out of it then. And he just about manages to recover it. B. Morgan from the back. Ryan out in front. 80% of those tires. He may well get to the end, but he's slipping back. And now it's Sway trying to gap Gary. He's too far away, but up the front, Matimos and Scuba dominant at the front. Matimos can just control it to the end, and he has this race when wrapped up. He has not put a foot wrong so far today.
Matimos has been pretty much a perfect race for him so far. He's managed to get his safety car restarts perfectly timed. He's managed to stay out of trouble, keep it out of the wall, and he is on for what I would say a emphatic win here.
Yes, certainly. Scuba's putting a bit of pressure on this last step, but he's simply just not at the consistent pace to match up. Now we're looking further back then as Ryan is going to try and defend this position last minute. As actually Sway is gapping Garrett. He might not be out of shot with this podium. He has a phenomenal last lap, but Alonso up over them. He has a tremendous go. He's gone. Ryan's gone. Ryan's gone. Is he got that puncture now at last? The tyres have let go then. And now Ryan, a heartbreak for the Williams. He just hasn't got through. I think the tyres are actually still intact, but they're near 90%. He'll carry on, but he's got significant wing damage. Just broke the grip then. He's ran out of tyres. He's fallen off the cliff and now to the final lap. Surely he has nothing left to fight with now. Ryan, he gave it such a good go, but he's got nothing left. He'll tiptoe around the last lap. He's now out the running now, and that what looked like a podium has fallen away. Ryan out of it, he just simply took too much out of those tyres.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ryan. I think his tyre has just popped.
I'm looking for the Williams. Yeah, we're looking for it. I mean, the task is still saying that he's still got some tread left in it, but you can just see he is tiptoeing around. And if it's a puncture, I think it's on the rear of the car. Maybe a slow puncture building up, but oh, you had to feel for him. What a valiant drive, and in the end is going to go relatively unrewarded. Now to the end, you see Tiona's actually attacking Cowboy. There's still battles on this last lap, and it turns 7, they're side by side, and into the wall almost Tiona's, but Cowboy will get it done late in the day, and he'll try and chase down Ryan for that all-important 7th place. Can he grab it to the line up at the front? Matt Timos now going through the last few corners. He is all clear now to the line. He's led virtually the entire race, got pole position by a huge margin, and has driven absolutely flawlessly. He won last time out. Scuba was behind him in 2nd place, and for the 2nd week running, Matimos is the race winner here at TTML D2. Scuba in 2nd place, as now Alonso now is charging in at Gary for the line here. Can he get the podium lane? As he swing with the penalty now. Alonso looks at Gary. He gets it on the line. Unbelievable. unbelievable. Alonso is third. Gary has settled for fourth. He was out dragged to the line. The ERS advantage came through in a brilliant podium. York is battling with Convoy to the line. 7,000s between them. Unbelievable. Noisy in behind.
Oh
my
God.
word. The photo finish is kicking off in the last lap then. It's well organised topic. Ryan 13th to the end from Tionis, 14th to LMN. Also on the limit on tyres. Couldn't carry them through. And yeah, again, I think he also punctured on those tyres. And they're crashing over the line in bending fashion. That is it then. For what has been a simply phenomenal race. I lost my voice, I think, 6 laps from the end. Just about managed to survive it. Convoy gets driver of the day. What a spectacular showing. And it's a Red Bull 1-2 again, but a surprise podium. Alonso, the strategy paid off, was on the right tyres, kept it out of trouble, and now he gets a critical podium. A great drive today from Alonso.
Yeah, Alonso, he played that perfectly. He saved up all of his ERS behind the battle that was going on for the final spot on the podium. He saved up his ERS, and that final straight, he deployed it all when Gary had none left to his name. And they got him the podium.
Timing is the answer then. He beats Garrett to the podium by just a tenth of a second. Matt Tebow is the winner. Scuba second place then. Alonso third, Gary in fourth. Sway gets P5. We'll see if that penalty gets removed. I think there was an element of unfairness, so we'll see what happens there. B. Morgan, relatively quiet race, gets sixth in the end. Convoy is seventh from Jorg Noisy. Caladri running out the top 10. He had a pretty poor showing as well, just wasn't quite on his A game. Volakongen is 11th from his teammate Ice Topic. Those guys had a run to the line as well for Ferrari. Ryan, you have to feel for him. Last lap puncture, 13th position. Tiones 14th and Elements 15th in the end. And fastest lap goes to Noisy. Element, of course, just again, not great. Those tires at the end, also puncturing. Carson, Cam HU, legend not seeing out the checkered flag. What a dramatic race. And the only constant seemed to be the brilliance of Matty Boss. He wins today. And with 2 wins in a row, he's made a statement now in the championship race.
Yeah, absolutely. For Scuba as well, he's extended that lead to Gary. His teammate, though, looks like he may be throwing himself right into this championship hunt, and we may see Gary versus Scuba versus Caladri, because that was a bit of an off day there for Caladri and Jorg, so Matt Tibose will jump up into third, I believe.
Yeah, as it stands, I'm actually going to look at the championship standings. If you want, I'm not sure if we're going to get interviews out of any of these guys, but if you could maybe just invite them to the party, and we can see if we can get any of their thoughts over that race. Let's run through, actually, how is it looking in the championship? I think, as it stands, Scuba, with that second place, retains the championship lead, but his teammate is coming on strong and chasing him down. What great results he's had in those last few races. Almost his entire points haul has come from those last two. But either way, I think Gary still holds on to second in the standings. He is now provisionally on 75 points. Matt T-Boss on 73. Scuba leads on 83. And that trio actually has a decent advantage now in the standings as it stands in. The closest other driver I'm trying to suss out, it might be actually, I think it's Jorg, currently 8th now in the race, of course. He is a point clear of Caladri. Neither of those guys had great showings, which is why the gap has opened up. But are you maybe expecting, could we potentially see those top three in the championship maybe establishing themselves and making a bit of a case for themselves as just having a three-way fight for the title?
I think we may start to see something along those lines as we go further into the season. It'll become more clear who's going to continue to be consistent. At the moment, Matibos with 2 fantastic results, and of course we've had Scuba being ever so consistent at the top, and Gary, apart from that race at Bahrain, also pretty consistent at the top end as well.
Yeah, these guys haven't really put many foots wrong throughout the season so far. We'll see if we can keep it going. I'm not sure if you're busy at work trying to get these guys into the party. I do know though at Matsebos and I believe Scuba as well may not be able to give their thoughts on that race. We'll see if we can get any of them in ahead of it, but I know from last week it might not be the case in the end. But yeah, just really intriguing stuff. I guess in the meantime, before we might have to wrap this up, we can talk about what is coming at us next week, because the next round of the championship is coming to you from Austria, and that is a track that is always enthralling on this game. It's everyone is so evenly matched around that circuit that it's really going to throw things well up in the air. Austria next time out. What do you expect from that then? I certainly know what I expect, which is an incredibly close field, because unlike Baku, the skill gap, I'd say, is relatively low around that circuit, and so the field could be so close, and the racing, especially with a powerful DRS, is incredibly unpredictable around there.
Yeah, it is going to be DRS trains galore when we go to Austria, and honestly, I'm expecting Austria just to be exactly what it is on the tin. It's just going to be a DRS train.
Yeah, but of course there may well be a couple of battles and incidents that could break up that train. We'll see if that is going to happen. We do actually now have Matt Tibbles in the party, and very excited to hear from you. First of all, I guess we could just kick off the start of the interviews with you. First of all, can you hear us? Is all your audio settings in check?
I can, yes, and the settings are fine.
Okay, brilliant. So let's get into it then. So, Matt, well, I can't really fault your drive today. You were absolutely phenomenal all the way through. First off, let's talk about, I guess, the start of the evening with that qualifying lap. You were phenomenally far clear of everyone else. You definitely seemed to choreograph that qualifying session quite well with your teammate as well. What was your thoughts going through that, and where did that lap come from?
Yeah, I think we planned before I might have to won that pace over my teammates. I think he planned to agree to give me the toe at the end. I think first two sectors went really well, and then I got an extra boost in the last sector, so that went really well. And then finished from pole, which is always nice.
Yeah, and obviously on the race itself, it was a race that saw quite a number of safety cars. Of course, I wouldn't say you had any real strategical dilemmas. The decisions were all quite easy to make, but what was it like? What was it like with were you worried at all about people on alternate strategies, maybe trying to charge the field? We know it can be quite difficult to overtake around here, but the DRS string can allow for that. So, what were your expectations, and were you at all worried about anyone challenging your space at the top?
Not particularly. I think the only thing I was worried about was Gary behind me. Other strats, I didn't think if they would be on medium tyres, which would be the same tyre as me, or they'd be on softs, which wouldn't last long enough, and hards wouldn't have the pace either. So I tried to keep track position whenever they came out, and didn't want to give up any sort of advantage that I had.
And also on top of that, you with this victory, that's your second victory in a row. Of course, after that phenomenal conclusion to the Spanish race, this one was a little bit more easy for you, it must be said. But what are your thoughts there? Because these two victories have thrust you right into the championship fight. Are you thinking about the championship, and do you think you have a really good shot at it going forward?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I think I missed Bahrain as well, when I thought I was going to do quite well there as well, so it could be a few more points as well. But hopefully, end of the season we'll see where we are. But going to be really boring and say race by race for now. Okay.
Mike, I'm going to allow you to take us through with Alonso, give you a bit of a chance to shine here. Of course, Alonso, thank you for being here. First of all, can you hear us? Can we hear you? Are your audio settings all in check, and we can get into this?
Yeah, I can hear you, so I hope you can hear me as well.
Yep, all good.
Yep.
So I guess we're all good. Mike, take it away.
Okay, so Alonso, it seemed like for most of that race, you were pretty much stuck in the midfield. A lot of battling going on around you. How was it keeping your cool in that fight in the midfield?
It was really difficult, to be honest, because especially on the restarts, you have to be so cautious because people are braking so early, and if you brake like a few meters too late, you're gonna hit somebody and the race is pretty much done. And especially when you consider the fact that we had, I don't know, 3 safety cars or something like that, and I was just getting into the rhythm again after the restart, and all of a sudden we had another safety car and all this shit, and yeah, it was quite difficult. And at the end, I didn't know Sway had a pen, and I think he will get the penalty removed anyway. But yeah, it was quite awesome on the final straight because I knew Gary was quite low on EIS because his light was flashing, so I thought I might get him on the line, and yeah, obviously quite good. And overall, quite a decent race. I kept my nose clean, no silly moves. If you compare others, they are quite miserable races. And yeah, especially considering the fact I really hate this tracks. It's so awful.
Yeah, it seems like today's race was a bit of a return to form because you have been missing for quite some while at the sharp end of things.
Yeah, it's basically qualifying where I really struggle. I mean, it was P11, which was okay, considering this track's pretty terrible for me. And then I managed to get through lap 1 unscathed, and then it all unfolded quite well. So looking forward to the next races. I think the tracks coming up are quite good for me. So I hope I'm gonna get another good result next time round.
Okay, I hope that for you as well, mate. So it's good to see you back up there. Back to you, Gary. No, I said Gary Daka.
Well, I'm quite offended by that.
Sorry, I'm just disappointed in
fine.
Gary.
It's fine. I've made that mistake on comms before, so it's all right, mate. But I think that's almost it. I'm gonna come to you though quickly. Well, let's say you've handed over to me. I'm gonna hand her back over to you just for a quick second. Who would you say after this race that threw up a lot of surprises, a lot of unpredictability, and certainly one that evolved along all the way through? Who is your driver of the day be for this enthralling backer race?
It's a close one. I want to say Matt because obviously he just controlled the race and didn't put a foot wrong the entire thing. But I also want to say Scuba because of the way he came back from his early incident and back up through the field.
Okay, well, I guess that's inconclusive then. We'll leave it with that. So I think that is going to be just about it for the racing here tonight. Of course, we've still got more from TTML throughout this week. Tomorrow is going to be Division 4 and Division 5 live at 8 p.m. UK time. You don't want to miss those at all. And of course, we do have a lot of other championships as well running throughout the TTG affiliated leagues. Don't forget as well about the brand new EML Formula 1 League that just started up yesterday. That is going to be running almost weekly. The only weeks it won't be running will, of course, be the EML Teams Championship. That's going to be kicking off in about 2 weeks' time from now. So definitely mark that date in your calendars. It is going to be electric yet again. And so I think that is pretty much it then for tonight. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week, I suspect, in Austria. But I think with everything said and done, I've been Daniel Hogarth, he's been Michael Edwards, and until next time, we'll see you later.
Yeah, I'm on my way home. I'm no good for you, so I drive around Manhattan. They're all laughing, oh, I'm tragic. Yeah, I'm driving in my car and seeing open, but I can't go down that road again. I'll smoke a cigarette, but will that help me forget you? Will that help me forget you? I just need to forget you, oh you. I need a dream.